All right. So we do have a couple of key questions before I get into the next step. So you'll see a poll pop up on your screen. If you can just take a moment to answer that, that would help us. So the first question is, does your company use Salesforce? So if some group at your company uses Salesforce, even if it's not your group, please answer yes. All right, we have almost everyone who's voted. We'll just give it another couple of seconds here. All right, so over 70% of people have Salesforce at their company. Makes sense, that's why you're on this webinar, but we'll focus on the use of Salesforce here. And I have one other question for you here. Now, do you personally use Salesforce in your organization? So you may be a Salesforce administrator or a user of Salesforce. So if you log in and you use Salesforce at your company, please answer yes in this poll that's running now. Okay, thank you. So about 60% of you are using Salesforce personally. Great, so you'll be able to appreciate what we are about to show you. So as people who use Salesforce, you live in Salesforce. Your data is there, your contacts are there, your users are there, your accounts, and all the data that you care about, whether it's the revenue, the reseller revenue that's coming in, your customers' revenue, churn, number of tickets, all that great stuff is all tracked in Salesforce. And now with the Mindflash app, your business data, your training data can live in Salesforce along with your business data. And this was the point we would love to make, which is now you can make the case of the impact of training on your business, not just the standard training metrics of how many people you trained and what their satisfaction was with the training, but real business impact, which is what was the impact on the business. So what are the key benefits of this app? The first one is to tie business results to training data. And we've seen people do this in numerous ways. We've had people do this with reseller training, and they were able to quantify that some of their resellers who took the third level of training, which is the expert level of training, went up to 400% in revenue. So they were able to show that revenue increased dramatically because of training. And those are the kind of impacts that this app will allow you to show. The second is, since you already live in Salesforce, you'll be able to enroll your contacts and users directly from Salesforce. You don't have to leave Salesforce to do this anymore. You can do it directly from Salesforce. And you'll be able to build your custom reports and have them auto-emailed to you or other Salesforce users on a schedule that you like. And this data can be combined with your Salesforce data to make up your own reports. So all the power that we love as Salesforce users of reporting is now at your fingertips to include Mindflash reporting as well. So let's cover a few key features of the app. It works on contacts and users. So you typically have accounts and contacts. Within them, this is typically if you have your customer data or people, resellers, etc., and you've set them up as accounts and contacts in Salesforce, it'll work with that. It can also work for internal training, which are typically Salesforce users. Salesforce users typically have a login to Salesforce, and you can invite them to take training as well. This is automatically syncing data between Mindflash and Salesforce, and it usually happens within a few minutes. There are no buttons to push. It just happens seamlessly in the background. So when people complete their training, their Mindflash training, their status that they've completed, whether they've passed or failed, and their score all shows up automatically on their contact record in Salesforce. And to reiterate that this Mindflash data is native to Salesforce, so it can be used, you can use it to create your other reports in Salesforce. All right, so it's time for our demo. So you should be able to see my dashboard now, and this is our, it's a sample Salesforce instance, but you can see that the Mindflash training section is one of the items over here in my dropdown, and I've selected that. And so the tabs across the top are now customized to Mindflash. And you can see my dashboard here. It tells me the number of people who've started, the percentage, all the standard dashboard charts that I can create in Salesforce are now available to me with my with the reporting that's provided in Salesforce. So let's take a look at courses now. And when I look at this is a view, and I want to look at all active courses. So this is a list of all my active courses in Mindflash, and this is now just visible to me in Salesforce. All right, so now we'll look at a particular course. And within a particular course, you'll see the status of the course. So a lot of these things are familiar to you from Mindflash, who the trainer is, whether the course is active, the description, and then you have the charts. You get some pre-built charts with through Mindflash, through the Mindflash package, but you can customize them as you need. And then you get the trainee report that shows you all the list of things that those users have done. So you get their name, invitation date, the date they started, their score, the duration in the program, their status, whether it's completed or not, and whether they passed or failed, and their completion date. Now, if I go back here, I can also go to a course and decide I want to invite people. So I can look at who's taken the course, and then I realize I want to invite someone to take this course. So right from Salesforce, I can click on Invite to Training. And I now get a list of all the courses here. The one that I was in is already selected for me. So I'm going to just proceed from there. And now I can search for trainees. And I can either do a simple search. So if I know I'm looking for a particular person, like Heidi, I can find them here or type. And the person will show up here, and I can check them. Or we also have an advanced search. And in the advanced search, you get all your Salesforce fields available to you that you can search on. So as an example, if I want to search for people whose title, and these are Salesforce titles, include manager, I can do that, and I get a list of all the people who have manager in their title. And I can select all of them and add them to my trainees, and all these guys will now be sent invitations when I hit send invites. And so let's do that, and within a few minutes they will get an email. Okay. So now if I go to this person, let me look at one of the people that we sent an invitation to. Okay, so John was one of the people we sent an invitation to. And you'll see that he's now in a pending invite state, and he'll get an invitation, and when he starts, he'll go into a started state. So all this data will just automatically update for you. You don't have to worry about it. So I'll go back to this invitation wizard because this thing is fairly powerful and combines your Salesforce data with Mindflash. So you have the ability to select courses or series. These are all your Mindflash courses and series available to you in Salesforce. And I add a course. You can add multiple courses. You can also specify whether the course is required or not, just like you can in Mindflash. And your trainees, you can choose between your contacts. So these are people who are in your Mindflash system. These could be your resellers, prospects, etc. Or your Salesforce users. These are people like you who typically log into Salesforce, and you can assign them training as well. These would typically be salespeople, but could be other folks in your company as well. Okay, so let's look at the dashboard now. So this is a dashboard that we built, and it shows you some of the standard Mindflash training details, like the course status, the average scores, the average duration, course results, total training time, etc. But you can also create your own report, and that is, so we'll look at our Mindflash reports here, and you get some of these that are standard Mindflash reports that just come with the course. And once you get into the customize area, you're able to combine your local Salesforce data with your Mindflash data as well. So you get all your fields that are available to you here that are all available in Salesforce. Now, we often get people who want these reports to be emailed to them on some frequency. And it could be for themselves or for other people. And you can schedule these future runs. So you can say you want it to be emailed just to you, and you can set the frequency that these reports come to you, or you can send it to yourself as well as other people, other Salesforce users in Salesforce, and you can set the frequency, and these folks will get the email at the frequency that you set. So this is useful if you want to send have a weekly report of people who have completed the courses, or you want to set up a report that says, show me the list of people who failed or passed, etc. So instead of even coming to Salesforce, those reports can show up in your inbox. So those are the main pieces that I wanted to highlight. The fact that these are native to Salesforce. It shows up here in your dropdown. You have your dashboards here that you can further customize. You have all of your contacts that you have in Salesforce available in this tab. You have the invitation wizard to allow you to invite people based on Mindflash criteria or by Salesforce criteria. And you can see the list of courses, series, and catalogs all here in Mindflash. And all the data for these courses and series are available in the contact record for all these users. And that's all automatically synced. So what are some of the guidelines for the beta? We have the beta that's available to our customers as a special offer, and this is free till the end of September to all current Mindflash customers. So if you are a current Mindflash customer, you're welcome to use this Salesforce app in your sandbox environment or your production environment for free till the end of September. After that, if you are in the beta and you have used it through September, it will be available to all our Pro customers and above for $99 a month in addition to your regular Pro fee for the rest of 2015 as a special thank you for participating in the beta. And after that, from Jan of 2016, it goes to a regular price of, for Pro customers, of $4.99 a month from Jan 2016. But to get these promotional rates, you do need to be in the beta. And what does being in the beta mean, and what does it involve? It means that you are using software that we're currently building and that we are constantly updating. So we do ask for your feedback. Tell us what you like. Tell us what could be better. And we can get working on that and make the app as great as we'd all love it to be. And in exchange, we do ask that once you're using it, that you do write a review for us on the App Exchange. Reviews are a powerful driver for other people to decide to install and use the app. So those are the two requests that we have for you as part of being in the beta. Please give us your feedback, what you like and what can be better, as well as a review on the App Exchange. So at the end of this is how do I get this? Well, we have this app that is ready to go. So I'm going to ask you for one last poll. So you should see a poll there, which is we have the beta available, and we'll make available a link that you can use to download the app or install the app into your sandbox or production environment. So if you would like to participate and you'd like to get this link, and either if you're the Salesforce admin or talk to your Salesforce admin, have them install it in your sandbox or production environment, just let us know here with a yes, and we will follow up with you. And you can start seeing all the stuff that we just talked about in your own environment with your own data. Okay, we have about 70% of people who voted. So even if you're interested but aren't ready for today, just let us know and we'll follow up with you later. But for the rest of you, this is available today. You'll get the link. If you are a Salesforce admin, you hit the link, and this can be in your environment today. And all your Mindflash data will automatically and seamlessly sync. So for every contact that you already have in Salesforce, all that data comes across already. So it's not just for all future training. It's all the training that you've already done in Mindflash, all the history that you've built in Mindflash can be brought in seamlessly and automatically once you connect the Mindflash Salesforce app and have all this data live in Salesforce today. All right, so we had about 35% of people who would like to participate in it today, and about 50% who would like to wait. So thanks for sharing that. So this is the link that I'm going to send to you as a follow-up to this webinar as well. So this is the link that you would click and install it directly into your sandbox, into your environment. And we have a help article to help you with installation instructions. So it'll be helpful, and if you have any questions, of course, we are here to answer them. So that concludes the prepared portion of this demo. And it looks like we have lots of questions, so we have my colleague Jason here helping us with our questions.
All right, great. We have a lot of good questions here, so we will just jump right into those. In the same way that you invite a trainee through Salesforce, can you also reset or remind a trainee via Salesforce, or can this only be done on the Mindflash platform?
Yeah, great question. And currently, you can invite trainees through Salesforce, but we do have plans to extend it so that you can reset or remind trainees in Salesforce, just like you can do it in the Mindflash platform. But right now, only the invitation function is in Salesforce.
So coming soon.
Coming soon, yes.
Is the quick poll a feature of the Mindflash, or was that done using something else?
Yeah, this quick poll feature apparently is quite popular. It is a feature of GoToWebinar and is very cool, but it is obviously much more useful in a live environment. So it is something that we use in the GoToWebinar product. It is not a Mindflash feature. Mindflash does have quizzes, so you can absolutely use the quiz feature in Mindflash.
Regarding Mindflash data integration into Salesforce, what about survey data and other statistics on quizzes, such as % trainees that get a given question right or wrong, average time spent on a course, etc.? Are those uploaded to Salesforce immediately as well?
Yeah, good question. Right now it is course and survey data that comes across immediately and automatically. Some of the more specifics, like the percentage of trainees that got a specific question right or wrong, those are available in our standard advanced reports at this time. But if you do have particular reports that you're trying to build in Salesforce, we'd love to hear from you and see what you're trying to do. The average time spent on the course is available right now in Salesforce as well. So that data, anything that is related to the course, is available in Salesforce. So average time spent on the course is right there.
What tiers of license does this work with or require? I assume we could probably answer this both for Salesforce and Mindflash.
Yes. So I'll take the Mindflash one first. During the beta, it's available on all paid versions of Mindflash, Basic, Advanced, Pro, and above. Post the beta, which is Jan 1st, 2016, it will be available only on the Pro and higher tier for an additional fee of $4.99. And it works on Enterprise and up on Salesforce, so including on the Developer Edition.
Can a user search for courses based on features, keywords, etc., if they don't know exactly which course they are looking for?
Okay, good question. The interface that we just showed you is primarily for the instructor or the manager role in Salesforce, or rather in Mindflash. It's not for the end user or the learner view. The learner continues to see the same interface that they see today. So they have their dashboard where they can search for courses, where they can search for courses within their catalog, etc. So all of the features that are available, like the search, etc., is still available to the learners in their trainee dashboard.
What if I'm looking for a specific course, though? Can I go, as someone inviting, can I go in and search for specific courses?
Absolutely. So as the instructor, you can absolutely look for different courses and find them there.
Okay, great. In order to invite users to new courses, do they already have to be registered in Mindflash, or can you add new Mindflash users through Salesforce?
Okay, so I think the question is, if people aren't in Mindflash, can I add them to Mindflash in Salesforce? Not currently. The way that this works is any user that you invite through Salesforce gets automatically added to Mindflash, and any users that have in the past you've had in Mindflash with their scores, if we find an email address that matches in Salesforce, we will sync the data there. But let's say, as an example, you have 100 people in Salesforce and you have 200 people in Mindflash. Mindflash won't go ahead and create the additional 100 in Salesforce. We'll just sync the 100 that exist in Salesforce. But you can absolutely add people to Mindflash through Salesforce.
So if the reverse of that, you had 200 people in Salesforce and 100 in Mindflash, and you invited all 200 in Salesforce, if they already existed in Mindflash, it would match up, and then the extra people would just be added to Mindflash.
Absolutely, correct.
Can contacts sign up to training on their own through a Salesforce community?
Good question. We are really interested in communities, and it's not available in the beta, but we'd love to chat with you and see what you're doing with communities and see what we can do there, because we are very excited about communities, the partner communities, the customer communities. We haven't had too many people actually using those communities and using Mindflash, so I'd love to follow up with you and see what we can do there.
We love that use case, though, so definitely of interest. Could I auto-email the sales managers a list of their employees who have passed or failed?
Yeah, so if the sales managers are in Salesforce, which they usually are, then you can absolutely use the feature that I showed where you can schedule a report, and those reports will get auto-emailed to your sales managers.
Okay.
I just want to go back to Brian's question on the community folks. The advantage of any community users being the learners in Mindflash is that they also get to use single sign-on. So they just continue to use their existing Salesforce credentials that they use for their customer and partner communities to sign into Mindflash. And so it's just one less account that they need to manage, and you get all the benefits that we talked about in the app. But it's one less thing for you to manage as well as for the end user.
We use a lot of groups in Mindflash to separate our customer users. In addition, each of our customers logs into their own data within Salesforce. Is this data only listed to a group, or is it all or nothing situation? I'm not sure I'm totally clear on that question. Just to clarify how groups in either system works, the groups in Mindflash will not automatically be created in Salesforce. So there's no auto creation of groups in Salesforce based on Mindflash groups. What you would be able to do using the connection is most likely all of your contacts are grouped under that customer in Salesforce. So if you are familiar with Salesforce, you'll have an account record with a bunch of contacts underneath it. What this would allow you to do is filter down to just those people and then invite them to courses. Similarly, you could filter your reporting in Salesforce to only show the contacts and their training records from a specific customer or customers. So most likely you'd be able to get at what you're talking about through the integration. I'm not totally clear on the question, but I think you would be able to do that. And if we didn't answer your question, certainly feel free to follow up with us after this, and we can get it all straightened out for you. Are you only going to invite pro customers to beta? No, so this is open to everyone. I think we've covered this one. It's probably entered before we covered that, but it is open to everyone during the beta period, and then beyond that, it will be available to pro customers for a monthly fee. If we want to use this in a customer's environment to help influence, what if we want to use this in a customer's environment to help influence adoption, but they are not yet a customer and we want to demonstrate integration value? Can we use a beta link for a customer instance of Salesforce?
If the customer doesn't have a, so the customer doesn't have a Mindflash account, it sounds like. Yeah, so it would just create a Mindflash trial, but it'll only work for 14 days. The Mindflash trial will only work for 14 days, and after that you'll need to be on some Mindflash paid program for that to continue.
The other thing is it does work with the developer edition of Salesforce, so depending on if they're a Salesforce customer and you just wanted to demonstrate kind of what it does without hooking it up to a live account, you could do it that way. If you had a developer account with Salesforce and like a trial with Mindflash, you could hook those two up and just put more or less dummy data in, which is kind of what Randir showed here. How flexible is the pricing? I can do $99 a month, but $49 is going to be a hard sell considering I'm paying. Okay, so the pricing is fixed the way it is. So you know, what I would say is that if you want to hop in on the beta and get access to it at a lower price, certainly you should do that in the time being. It's a good opportunity to sort of prove the value and you know, see that everything is working well and is of value to your company. Does this work with Salesforce Service Cloud offerings, specifically case management and knowledge? So this does not plug into that right now. I'm assuming that the scenario might be you're answering a case and you want to offer a course to someone to take. It's like a widget, say, I want this course, and enroll this person. It doesn't currently do that. I think that's a fantastic use case, though, and it's definitely something that we've got an eye on. So, you know, it's something we're very interested in sort of the longer term here and would love to be able to roll out. Can the trainee report be exported to Excel? Yes, any of our reports can be exported to Excel. You can export any report in Salesforce to Excel, certainly, and then likewise, any report in Mindflash can be exported to Excel too. So you really have two options there, and you know, ultimately it comes down to what you're trying to do with that data. If you're trying to tie it to Salesforce data, then obviously that would be a great source for doing that. If you just need to export like a trainee report or a report on a specific course, you could also do that from Mindflash, and both are options.
Yeah, the standard Salesforce reporting of CSV and Excel applies, so that's absolutely possible right here.
Can the app also report on individual module completion within a given course? So we don't really have the concept of modules within Mindflash. Each individual course has its own reporting level and doesn't say like, you know, they've completed module 1. What this may be referring to is if a course is part of a series, you could have multiple courses within a series, and in effect those operate like modules. If that's what you're referring to, the answer is yes, it does do that. You can get that reporting both in Mindflash and in Salesforce. It will show you course by course within a series how people have done. So that is a possibility. Is there a plan to expand to Salesforce users as well as at some point in that case? So does it serve for Salesforce users as well?
Yes, it does. And I'll just share my screen again here to indicate that we talked about that. So if I do the select trainees, we looked at the default, which is the contacts view, but you can switch it to users, and you'll get a list of your Salesforce users here, so you can assign and enroll them in training as well. So it works for both users as well as contacts.
Is this appropriate for using as product launch training to our external business accounts? We've been using Adobe Connect to do that and need to use Mindflash somehow. Do the number of Salesforce accounts and users attending training reflect the number of trainees allocated under the Pro Mindflash tier? So absolutely, this could be used for that. And actually, it would be a fantastic way to do that. It would be very easy to go in and just invite all the people to the course. Anyone who you do invite then becomes someone who is in Mindflash, and they do occupy a seat. Ultimately, those people are taking a course, and they operate like any other user in Mindflash, or they function like any other user, so they would be occupying a seat. But this could absolutely be used for that, and hopefully would be a lot easier than exporting lists from Salesforce and importing into other systems or whatever the case may be. One other point to note, there's a high likelihood that you're using Captivate in order to create those courses on Connect. If that's the case, that is a feature or a tool that Mindflash supports. So my guess is that with very little change, you could probably just create those courses directly on Mindflash using your Captivate tool or however you're currently doing it, and then set them up on Mindflash and just import people that way. So I think it'll be easy, might even save you time, and it'll be minimal change to what you're already doing.
And the big benefit to that, Jason, is not only the saving of the time up front and exporting and that kind of stuff, but all the status and scores and everything else are automatically updated in Mindflash and in Salesforce when people complete the training.
Yeah, this is probably a good time to note that one of the case studies that we have on our website, and we hear this from numerous people, but one that specifically is on our website, was able to tie the performance of their partners, the sales from their partners, back to their training, and they got a 3-time, or is it 4-time?
3 times.
3-time increase in sales from the partners who were trained using Mindflash courses to those that weren't, or what was common before. So this will not only allow you to invite all your partners and get them all trained, but it will also tie that back to the actual numbers that you have in Salesforce, which is one of the big challenges that people have with training, is tying it back to the actual value of, did this work for us? So hopefully this will help you out a lot in doing that and make it a lot easier to report on that. Can you remove a user seat from Salesforce, or does this need to be removed from Mindflash directly? So I'm assuming this is around archiving, a question around archiving.
Yes, this does need to be done in Mindflash right now, but definitely something that we can add as we look to add additional features in Salesforce, so that all your management can be done from Salesforce. Good feedback there.
Okay, I think that is the bulk of our questions. Is there any?
Yes, I have one final question. We do have the Big Salesforce conference coming up in September. So if you will be at the Salesforce conference, we'd love to meet you in person. So just indicate the Salesforce conference is called Dreamforce. It's in September in San Francisco. So if you are attending, just hit the yes option here, and we'd love to see you. Our CEO and many of our team members will be at Dreamforce, and we would love to meet you in person. I think they're expecting 140,000 people, so you'll be in good company. All right, we have about 60% of people who've voted. All right. Do we have any more questions in the meanwhile, Jason?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. So we will follow up with an email. You'll get an email latest by tomorrow that gives you a link that you can sign up and install the application in your environment. It gives you a link to the help article. It will give you a link to the recording as well. Thanks for your participation today. We're excited to have this webinar to demo this for you, but we're even more excited to get your feedback on how this works with your data in your environment.